Meghan Markle is regretful over Prince Harry book after being dubbed a professional whiner. Is Meghan Markle planning these hit pieces? Welcome to Popcorn Planet. I am Andy Signor, and I'm so excited to have the Black Belt Barrister back. Daniel, so good to see you, sir. How you doing, man?
I'm very good. How are you?
I'm doing great. It's always a pleasure to have you here. And I was watching one of your videos, and I'm doing my special Royal Collab Week here on both channels. So honored to have you here. And you brought up an interesting question that I'm really excited to talk about. I'm always trying to figure out, how do we know when a source is right? How do we know what we can trust? How do we know where that source is coming from? And over on your channel, over on Black Belt Barrister, which, guys, if you aren't yet subscribed, what are you waiting for? I now get to subscribe again from my new channel to his channel. So excited to do it. Yeah, in this video recently you did that I saw a lot of success to, the Heat magazine bringing the heat on Meghan. This Heat magazine article this is a little bit ago, but it's been repurposed and used in a lot of other articles I've seen more recently, even, just a couple days ago, etc. About this whole idea of Meghan regretful about Harry's book and all these things. As you were breaking down this article, I was sort of amazed because you were looking at it from sort of your own legal experiences of witnesses and things, and you were breaking down your own opinion where you felt like not only did you buy this source based on sort of the verbiage, but you sensed, again, according to this is our opinions here, you sensed that this could have been a hit piece against Harry, from Meghan herself. Can you elaborate? So tell us about let's start this hit piece. This Heat magazine hit piece. How did you feel like this was a proper vetted source in the first place? Can we start there?
Well, let's start with the name. I mean, the clue is in the name. Heat magazine, heat bringing on the heat, right? So where I always start is, I always think they must have a source. The source must be a real person telling them real information. It's either real information or it's totally bogus. Now, anyone knows that if anything happens, there's 100 or 1,000 fake police reports, and they filter those out. These news outlets must do the same thing, and so they must, if they're worth their salt. And I would like to think that Heat magazine is worth its salt to at least check to some degree. Now,
and just sorry to interrupt, but this is because we don't have this here in the States. Heat magazine is a magazine that you guys have out there.
Well, it's from heatworld.com, so they refer to it as Heat magazine. So it's just this article here, but people refer to sources, and this one in particular refers to a source. And any of these places, they can be wrong. So just as a caveat, they can be wrong, but in my view, usually they are referring to somebody that's given them information. Now, there's an important, just as a side point, which we'll come back to in a minute, but as a side point, no one will be in contempt of court for not disclosing who the source is. So if a court, to break that down into plain terms, if a court said, you must tell me who this is, and they say, no, I'm not telling you who the source is, they're not in contempt of court. Whereas a normal witness, they say, you must tell me who said this. They would be in contempt of court, which is disobeying the court. A journalist is not for the source of information, and that's under Section 10 of the Contempt of Court Act 1981 in England and Wales. So coming back to Heat magazine, as it's dubbed, heatworld.com, this source, in inverted commas, goes into great detail about supposedly what Meghan was thinking about this book, the book release, how much effort she put into it, how much interference she had into it. And it read very much to me that, for one, the source seemed genuine, because how would anyone know all of this information, and how would they print it unless they were convinced by it? And secondly, the detail that it went into, that Meghan was saying, that she wishes she'd taken more steps to tell him, don't include this and don't include that in the book, which ironically, it suggests the complete reverse, because on the one hand, it suggests that she said, according to the source, you understand, she said, it's not as simple as distancing myself because I've got to appear supportive, but it was all him, which is distancing language, which is a contradiction. So that seems to me it's either Well, quite frankly, it's either her or someone at the behest of her or someone close to her saying, tell them this. And that's what a source
Sense, right? Generally, it's a source is someone close to the principal.
You just turned into
someone who knows.
Deep Throat as a source. What, your voice, did you hit a voice coder? Your voice is all deep now. Did you hit a button?
I didn't. Well, unless my phone did. I don't know. But is that better?
No, you sound like Satan.
What's going on?
Is that better?
There we are.
I blame the Roadcaster. Roadcaster.
I'm leaving that in. That's the source was coming live here.
That's the source.
I'm the source as well. I'm here speaking to Heat Magazine.
Anyway, continue.
You'll find the product linked in the description below, right, Andy? Anyway, go buy it. It's fantastic, apart from when it interrupts your flow with fake voices. But other than that...
What is your favorite scary movie?
But anyway, we can laugh. But yes, for sources, protecting voices, whatever. But yes,
Absolutely.
getting into this, there's language here that makes you think.
Absolutely. Yeah, it makes me think that it's either her, someone close to her, or informed by her. Tell them this because this is what I want the public to hear about. This is what I want the public spin to be. At least that's my interpretation from this article. And what else are we supposed to think from this article? It says, we are told Meghan can now see, whether it's fair or not, that they're being viewed as professional whiners, as though it's not as simple as distancing herself. She's got to be seen as being fully supportive of him. She's now regretting that she wasn't more hands-on or involved with him putting the book together. Now, this is so specific that it's either completely, utterly fake and disingenuous, which would be really bad for any publicist. Therefore, I don't really believe it, because that would
So far gone, right? It's like they're just complete lies.
Exactly. Serious lies, serious risk of defamation, misinformation, all the rest of it. I just don't think they would do that.
But on the other hand of the coin, like the other side of the coin, like we can't ask them who their source is. So couldn't they just make it up? Could the press be getting as bad as Meghan's implying? Do you think?
Well, that's I mean, it's certainly a possibility, but it's not something that I would think. It's a bit like saying, is the judge corrupt and biased and everything else? Like, well, it's possible, but it's not probable. It's probably one of the best responses from a witness. If ever you're called to court and you're being cross-examined and say, isn't it possible that this happened? Your response, instead of, well, yes, it's possible that happened, is like, well, yes, it's possible, but it's not probable. Yeah, it's technically possible, but probably not is the best response to a question like that. So in things like this, with a source that said all these things, yes, it's possible that it's all nonsense, but it's unlikely. The amount of detail, it's just not likely. And so
you made a point of even calling out some words like that was evidenced by the fact that she let him do these things. Like the language of it is so strangely specific.
It is. And I've got it on screen now. She said that the same went for his interviews and promo tours. That was evidenced by the fact that she let him do those by himself. Let them do him. I mean, I'm a lawyer. I analyze words. Let them do them by himself and made a point not to interfere. It's so precise that it is either a very, very well put together hit piece on them or between each other. And so I don't think it's credible that it's just totally made up with the detail that they've gone into. It is much more likely, as a lawyer objective bystander, it's much more likely that they do have a source, which is either Meghan or someone that she knows or someone that knows her, which is a technical distinction, but someone that knows something and has put this information together and gone to press. And
right, because it's not even
all the time.
It's not even just like Meghan's obviously putting this out there. It's someone in Meghan's circle who may be hearing her vent or her saying, put this back out there in my behalf, is a likely scenario too, where that is then still a hit piece provided by Meghan's side of things, which then Meghan to Harry could even be like, I don't know where all this is coming from, Harry. Yeah. It is a scenario. It is a possible scenario. I mean, have you noticed that in other pieces? Do you feel like that is why a lot of people aren't don't like Meghan and don't trust it? Are you sensing that overall?
My sense overall is that the negativity towards them is not necessarily them as people. And I've put this out on my, it's not a new channel, it's an old channel, but my channel with a newfound sense of purpose, where I'm airing my opinions on black belt secrets.
Ooh.
The secrets, if you like, of what I really think is, I've said it's not a dislike for them as people. Like I've said, this is not me taking a dislike to Harry and Meghan per se themselves. It's the behavior, what they've done, how it's come across. So I think my perception is the negativity has come on what they've done, what they've said, and the overall demeanor of the interviews being somewhat ridicule of the royal family, especially of the late Queen. There's so many people, I've had thousands of comments worldwide. People have so much respect for the Queen to this day and forever. And that one piece that I've touched on in my videos really killed their reputation. But coming back to the article, which backs up my reasoning for believing that this came from a genuine source, was one of the tail end paragraphs, penultimate paragraph, is sort of in support of, well, what next? What do they want to do next? Now, if this were made up, they wouldn't do this. In my view, they wouldn't do this. If it were a made up hit piece against Meghan and Harry, they wouldn't
plug the next thing. Exactly.
Yeah, exactly right. So the next thing is that finding a new platform to host their podcast is a priority for Meghan now. They're not giving up. They still feel passionate about making this a success somehow in the long run, but also they can't help but feeling that they're staring down the barrel of a nightmare, with a challenge and whatever, clawing back their popularity. To me, that is someone saying, now they're looking forward to the future. They're trying this. They want to claw back their popularity. They want to make this a success. They want your support back. If this were a hit piece against them, it wouldn't be saying that. So to me, it's someone that does support them with or without their knowledge and support and input and whatever. I think it's someone that knows them, knows the details, and therefore they're spinning the future as positive. I put it out there as a poll and said, I don't know if we can bring it up, but I put it out there as a poll and said, what do you think about their popularity? Is it possible that they can claw this back? And it was overwhelmingly no. But I'll try and pull up the poll and say, I said, let me find it.
Doesn't surprise me. No, they have so much to overcome. And as I knowing from Steph, like the way they've offended the royalists out there, it's not going to be easy return ever.
No, absolutely not. It's definitely not. I've done that many.
He's done a lot of polls.
I can't find it now. But
overwhelmingly
no. And we'll find it. You can put it in the description or something. But it was.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen the polls. They're not faring well in the polls. They
No,
definitely don't fare well in the
Definitely
polls.
not.
But yeah, it's a very good point you're bringing up that Dan points out of just, why would you suddenly do this plug? And it is very anti-Harry. It's weird because, again, if this source is correct, it's either Meghan's team putting it out there, which is throwing Harry on the bus, or it's someone Meghan spoke to that's throwing under the bus. So it's a hit piece on Harry regardless, and someone on Meghan's side seemingly is doing that. And then the question is, like, is it probable that there really is like a complete false narrative news cycle that's out there trying to pit? I agree with you. It seems a little high. It's a lot to ask for.
Yeah.
Well, I want to continue this conversation. We can find the poll. In fact, because of your new channel, I want to continue this conversation. We're doing this with all my guests. Part 2 of this conversation is going to come over to our new channel. We have one too, folks, Popcorn Palace. And I'm so excited because we get to hear some of Daniel's opinions. Some secrets? And we got another doozy you're not going to miss. Since you have this channel and now I have this channel, Daniel, I want to know, can they sue me? What are we allowed to say? What are we not allowed to say? I think it's an important conversation, and we're going to continue that over there. We'll try to find the poll as well. So make sure if you haven't subscribed already, subscribe, hit that button, hit that bell here over on Black Belt Secrets, Black Belt Barrister, Popcorn Palace. Smash the like, watch the videos, leave a comment, and leave all the support. Daniel, love the conversations. Let's keep it going. We're going to head on over there. It'll be there in a minute if it's not already. So come watch the latest over on Popcorn Palace, and make sure you subscribe to both Black Belt Barrister and Black Belt Secrets. And what do you think? Did she put this hit piece out there? Let us know below.